So, news that just broke is, does anyone remember the 2010 Disney animated movie called Tangled? Was basically the story of Rapunzel. Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Tangled live action movie in the works with Greatest Showman director Michael Gracie. Disney is planning a new version of the 2010 film that centers on Rapunzel. Again, let this sink in. It's a live action remake of an animated movie that came out in 2010. I mean, at least Tangled is older than Moana in that regard. Back, I think this was a year ago, it was announced that they were doing a live-action Moana movie. A live-action, I don't remember if they said it was a remake or not, but still, you're doing a live-action version of Tangled, an animated, a CGI animated movie from 2010. The biggest question about this is why? Why are you doing a live action adaptation of the movie Tangled? And I know that this is going to probably make some people mad within my circle, but it's okay to question the motives of a live action remake of an animated movie, and especially if they're in talks with the Greatest Showman director Michael Gracie, you know they're going to maintain it as a musical. They're not going to take the music out of it. And what more than likely is going to happen is it's going to be all the same songs that were in the 2010 animated movie to begin with. But anyway, let's get into this article before I tangent off for too long. Things are starting to get hairy as Disney lands a director to lead live-action adaptation of Tangled, of all movies. Michael Gracie, The Greatest Showman, is in negotiations to helm the new version of the studio's animated feature. The original Tangled hit theaters in 2010 and centers on Rapunzel, who was voiced by Mandy Moore. Jennifer... okay, here we go. Based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Okay, here's the real meat and potatoes, this one paragraph. Disney has continued to prioritize its live-action remakes that focus on popular characters. Director Barry Jenkins' prequel movie Mufasa: The Lion King hits theaters this month. That's December 2024. While the Rachel Zegler-led Snow White is set for release in March. And by the way, the Snow White movie has been delayed several times. Additionally, the live-action Lilo and Stitch recently shared its teaser trailer ahead of its May release. My biggest question is, was Tangled really all that popular of a movie in the grand scheme of things? Yes, I know it came out in 2010 and it made like $500 million at the box office at the time. But if we're looking in terms of like Disney princesses in the 2010s, even Tiana from Princess and the Frog isn't even up there. There's only two really big Disney princesses that came out of the 2010s, and that was Elsa and Moana. And Moana is already announced to have a live-action movie in the works with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The only one that has not had a live-action movie announcement was Frozen. But at this point, I would not be surprised if Disney announced a live-action Frozen sometime within the next couple of years. But still, why are you going to waste your time going to see this movie? As I said, given that they're getting Michael Gracie, the director of The Greatest Showman, back, they're gonna keep it a musical like the 2010 animated movie was. So it's gonna be all the same songs. The only difference is that instead of it being an animated movie, it's gonna be in live action. And God forbid if it's a case like Beauty and the Beast, where I'm gonna have to verify this statistic, but I think the live action Beauty and the Beast was almost like 2 hours long. I'm looking it up right now on the on IMDb just to verify. Yeah, the 1991 movie was only an hour 24 minutes, or 84 minutes to be exact, and the 2017 Beauty and the Beast, which was the live action remake of the 1991 animated movie, was 2 hours and 9 minutes. So you made a live action adaptation of an 84-minute animated movie and somehow made it longer. That's probably what's going to happen with Tangled, is that they're probably going to push it over the 2-hour mark. Let me verify how long the first Tangled was. I don't remember it exceeding like an hour. It was an hour 40 minutes. But if Beauty and the Beast is anything to go by, or the other live action remakes, they're probably going to push it over 2 hours. And the question of that is why. You know, if it's still going to be a musical and it's all going to be the same songs, why are you dragging it out? Because now you're going to have all of these pacing issues. Why aren't people just going to say, you know what? If I want to watch Tangled, I'm going to watch the 2010 animated movie because the 2010 animated movie is fine. You know, what are you going to accomplish in live action that the animated movie didn't already accomplish? And this once again goes back to, it's just yet another pointless live action remake that doesn't need to exist. And this is not the first time that Disney has done live action remakes of their classic animated movies. The one I could think of is The Jungle Book, not 2016's Jungle Book. Disney did a live action adaptation of The Jungle Book back in the 90s. I believe it came out in 93 or 94, but it was not an adaptation of their animated musical that they made in the 60s. They took all the music out of The Jungle Book and actually made their live action adaptation of The Jungle Book closer to the original book. It wasn't just a remake of the musical. Then you fast forward to 2016, they're doing yet another live action Jungle Book, and all it was just a remake of their animated musical that they made in the 60s. So again, it comes back down to, you know, what's the point? Why not just re-release Tangled, the animated movie, and call it a day? Why not re-release the 1960s, you know, Jungle Book, and call it a day? Why not re-release 1937 Snow White and call it a day? Why are you wasting all this time on these live action remakes? Yes, I know that Aladdin made a crap ton of money. So did Beauty and the Beast. But for every Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Lion King, there are just as many Cinderellas and Pinocchios and Lady and the Tramp. And by the way, remember, Lady and the Tramp the live action remake of Lady and the Tramp went directly to Disney Plus. Same with the live action remake of Pinocchio. Those were originally scheduled to be released in theaters, but Disney just threw them up on Disney Plus and just called them a day. So again, I know I've dragged this video out longer than I probably needed to go, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end it off with this. Please don't support bullshit live action remakes that don't need to exist. If you really want to watch Tangled, just go back and watch the 2010 movie. If they announce a live action Princess and the Frog, just watch the 2011 movie, because the live action Princess and the Frog is probably going to be a musical with all the exact same songs. So why are you wasting your time with a live action adaptation of an animated movie? Again, movies are not like Broadway shows. Yes, the longer a Broadway show goes on, it's natural for the cast to change. That's perfectly normal for Broadway, because some Broadway shows can run like 10, 20 years. But when you make a movie, movies last longer because you've captured this specific performance from these specific people at this specific time. I can play 1937 Snow White right now, today. It's going to be the exact same movie that played in 1937. It's going to have the exact same voice cast. That aspect has not changed. Stop treating movies as if they're like live action Broadway, as if they're like Broadway shows, and that you can just go back and remake them willy-nilly. No, movies are not stage plays in that regard. So if Disney thinks that a live action Tangled is gonna work, you know, if it's gonna be like the next Aladdin, if it's gonna be the next Aladdin, Lion King, or Beauty and the Beast, like I said, the only two really big Disney princesses to come out of the 2010s were Elsa and Moana, not really Rapunzel.